Cool. Hey guys. Good to see you, Block Gang. Mark, I'm glad that you're both doing well, but and glad that you could both make it for the show. WB89, great to have you. Yep, and I think it will be a grand finale this weekend. But yeah, interesting times. Hopefully, Luke can make it as well today because he's being our sort of lead French commander. But yeah, interesting turn last week. Good job to the other Allied generals for carrying the standards force. Yeah, the Allies have, I think, if we look back over the whole campaign, it's kind of been waves. We had high points, at least initially, where they were kind of making good progress. Then the French with Napoleon kind of pushed them back, and now they've sort of sallied forwards again at the end. So it's been pretty interesting. So what happened last turn is probably the best place to start off. So the previous turn we had Ney, who was escaping down this road. Napoleon had come across. Once their forces were sort of united, they were making their way towards Cézanne. Ney fought a holding action just to hold up the Allies so Napoleon could get out. After the battle, Ney was able to withdraw quite successfully. And he didn't quite get to Cézanne, but he just stopped short. Then last turn, the orders were given for the French to converge around Provins. And so as Napoleon was marching down, Ney again, bravest of the brave, holding his position. Luke's here. Good to see you. No worries. Yeah, held up the Allies once again, which was a good battle. He didn't actually take too many casualties in the fight itself. However, he did then get pursued by Cossacks and all of the combined cavalry, which did inflict quite bad casualties on the French as they withdrew. But he was able to extricate himself. We had the reserve corps from the south, which had made its way up, and then our reinforcement units have pretty well all reached Provins. So at this stage, pretty well the whole French army is in that region. This was a reinforcement of, I can't remember what they were, infantry, I think, who last turn, due to the random event, sort of were held up. As for the Allies, you have one of their sort of reinforcing detachments coming up from the south. They had a few different groups, which were, that one I think is artillery, just a battery of artillery, and then 3 smallish brigades, which were all marching and converging. And then you've got the main Prussian and Russian forces. So that's kind of where we're at. So I'm just going to quickly read the comments. And the campaign has progressed in a very offensive. Oh, yeah, I think I agree with you there, Mark. Yeah, just the way everything has moved has been pretty good. Luke, good evening, everyone. And hoping for lucky rolls for the French. Yep. Bloke Gang, gotta love the Cossacks. Oh, yeah, unless you're on the receiving end. Will, good to have you with us. Evening all set for the finale. Yeah, looks like we are on course for a good final battle, which is good. So, yeah, that gives us the summary of sort of last turn / the last 2 turns, which have been quite fun, quite interesting. So, as for this turn, unless anyone's got any questions, we can jump straight into it. So there won't be any additional reinforcements. We're into turn 11 now, so there's literally just this turn and next turn, although depending on the outcome of today, we may not even have a turn 12, but we'll wait and see on that front. But there are no reinforcements now for either side. Everything that is available is on the map. As for the weather, it was snow last turn. So that's going to affect things a little bit. So we will roll to find out what we're going to have next turn, though. If I can find the dice. There we go. Let's roll. And it's April now. And we've rolled a 21. And a 21, it's going to go to light rain. So if there is a turn 12, we're going to have light rain. Cool. I'm guessing where there were no French options, it's just, yeah, basically the French are there. At this stage, the options really for the French were either attack or keep withdrawing. And I kind of figured, whilst we're doing historical, at the same time it is a game. And so would it really be fun for the French to just avoid battle for the next 2 turns? not really, because that would just give you the same outcome. So that's why I didn't give them any options. They're just going to stand and fight at this stage, which I think probably Napoleon would have done on balance. He doesn't really have any other options. So, Mark, just curious, but where is Wellington and his? So Wellington and his army are coming across the up from Spain, so they're probably quite close to Toulouse. I can't remember what the date was for that battle, because I know historically it was fought after the French had sort of surrendered up here. So it was kind of a battle that wasn't actually required. So, but I'm not sure what the date was. But yeah, that's where Wellington is, giving Soult a hard pounding, I believe. Anyway, back to this. So that's our weather. There are no historical events for this turn. So we'll just roll up our random events. So for the French, they are going to roll a 18? No, a 16. And a 16 is pressing demands. Napoleon sent orders for speed. All French units gain +5 movement this turn. Oh, okay, so it can go an extra 5 miles. So that's quite useful to try and get these stragglers in. +5 miles movement. French troops. Cool. Yeah. As for the Allies, let's see what they're going to get. They have rolled a 17, and a 17 is bravery in the ranks. 1 unit, due to a determined officer's leadership, won't be routed. Okay, so that's going to be quite interesting, depending on who they are. 17, 1 unit won't break. Cool. Will it come down to them? Could be interesting. So that's that. Now let me just flick over to the what do we call it? The options. So with 17 votes, we've kind of got a tie. Option 1 and option 2 both on 24%, and option 3 is on 53%. So we can't really eradicate one, so we'll just roll off against all 3 of them. So that's where's my D there now? Cool. So on a 7, what is 0, 0? That's just says that, isn't it? 0, 0, 7. So on a 7, that goes to option 1. Option 1 is all northern forces, which are these guys, converge on a single point along the French line. Southern forces strike into the south, so they are going to try and go up, and these forces are going to just try and march across and hit them on that side. It's a sledgehammer blow, I guess. Okie dokie. We needed the extra movement and no more talk of running. Yeah. I'm not thrilled for option 3 with the snow. Too much chance of our spirit. Yeah. So this is a good choice. I think that's, yeah, pretty accurate there. I think if with the snow they would have been reduced in movement, and some of them would have had to have speed marched anyway, which would have given them an additional penalty. So there would have been a good chance that troops wouldn't have made it into the action. So I think, yeah, all things considered, it's probably the better option. So let's just roll and find out who gets initiative. Although it doesn't really matter because the French aren't doing too much, but let's just roll anyway, because why not? So French in blue, they get a +1 for Napoleon because he's on full health. French gets the initiative with a 5. Cool. So it goes to the French. So we can move up our reinforcing units. Luke, I know you're the main French commander, so it's up to you whether you want them all to converge straight on to Napoleon or whether you want to leave a rear guard or what you want. But I think basically as it stands, they last turn were heading in, so I don't even need to measure for them. And these other chaps, I'm just going to check who they were, because if they're artillery, they'll have a different movement to cavalry. Let's just have a look. I think they might be artillery. I'll just check the check this. Just bear with me. French infantry. No, they were infantry. Okay, So they are infantry, so they are going to be able to move infantry 7, 8, 9. Cool. So they will be going. They're basically going to get to there without a speed march. So, and that includes the additional 5 miles. So I think they are going to need to do a speed march this turn to try and get them into it. So where's my dice for the speed marching? D10, D10, there we go. Cool. So French armies. We've rolled a 1. Ooh, that's not good. On a 1 or 2, they do not speed march. Cool. And that's it for them. That infantry brigade didn't quite make it this turn. Unlucky for them, or unlucky for Napoleon. Given a choice, can the Allies swing in from the 2 roads in the northeast, hoping to pin the French on the river? So along this road and this road. I'll just confirm if that's correct, Will. If it is, I would say, I mean, their orders technically are to go in along one line, although there are an awful lot of them. So what we'll do is we'll put it down to a vote or maybe a dice roll. And if that is what you're asking, possibly these sort of reinforcing units could go down there. Otherwise, you could always send the 2 main forces sort of in a straight line across and the rest down the road. Wasn't that one option though, but bring them on. Yeah. So option 1, which is the one we've rolled for, was for everyone to converge straight in. Option 2 was half and half, and option 3 was a third, and a third to come around that way. Okay, so I'm open to the decision of the group. If it's orders as written, then they're all going to be converging straight in. Luke, wasn't that one option though? Yes, it was. But bring them on. So I mean, if you're happy for it, then that's fine. Basic, like Will's idea, but take the defensive. So what are you suggesting, Mark? That they sort of move in on 2 sides and then go defensive instead of attack? Or yeah, am I misunderstanding? I'm not entirely sure. So what I think we'll do is we'll roll a dice on that one, because you never know, maybe the orders were misinterpreted. So let's see, what would be a fair bounce? Trying to avoid a logjam. Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of, because you've got the 2 larger armies there trying to get down through there. So they might send the smaller units, but who combine into a reasonable force in a flanking maneuver. So yeah, let's see, shall we? Let's roll a dice. All in the Allies. Oh, so by that, Blook Gang, you want them all to just go straight in one overwhelming wave? Could do. Okay. All right. Seeing as there seems to be differing opinion here, I think what we'll do is we'll just stick to the order as rolled for. That way, it's what we've done for every other turn, and so we'll just stick to it this turn. Although we could attempt. Yeah, there we go. There's the compromise. What we'll do is we'll attempt to have, although it'll be 1 frontal assault, we will allow the Allies to have an outflanking force kind of as reinforcements who will come in on the flank or whatnot. Seeing as they've got more cavalry, we can just say they do something on those lines. I think that would work quite nicely. So let me write a note of that. Ally swing right. Yeah, I think that's I think a good compromise there. So we've got some of the Allies who will be swinging around, but it won't be a half. It'll just be some of them. Yeah, cool. Let's do that. So based off of that, I think, again, due to the nature of the roads and the way it is, these 2 forces are going to go path of least resistance. And so they're going to be coming straight on to Napoleon there. Then these were all, I think they were infantry brigades and an artillery battery. So those 2 who are at the front can probably be our flanking force. They will make it through, I'm pretty sure. So they'll be coming down to there. And then this unit here will be going. Yeah, he can just make it to, well, yeah, it is a bit of a logjam, but they'll all be in that vicinity. and some will try and sort of flank slightly, and the rest will be funneled into the main battle. Then we've also got these chaps down here, and they will go 7. And then we might as well try and force march them. So, which dice is it? Not that one. And they've rolled a 6, which is a success, I believe. On a 5 to 7. Yeah, so they have a success. They will make it in, but they will suffer D4 cohesion loss. Is that right? Yeah, D4. Where's my D8? There. Ah, D4. We've got one right there. Cool. And they suffer 4 cohesion loss. So let me write that down. 7 force minus 4 cohesion. Cool. We'll put that down to the snow. Will that last unit make it in the snow? They wouldn't have done, but now with the speed march, they will. Note to the Allied tactical commanders, don't attack piecemeal. Yeah, spend some turns if needed to allow flanking units to arrive before going into the attack. Yeah, given it is artillery, might be a fail. Yeah, and sounds good. As for artillery in this game, or in this battle, I did look quickly at the sort of overall order of battle for both sides. They're actually equal, I think, on artillery. Or at least they will be once the reinforcing unit of artillery comes into play. So Allies have a lot more infantry. They've got a chunk more cavalry, although it's not overwhelming. But artillery is pretty well on par. So it'll be quite interesting there. But yes, with the artillery being balanced, it is going to be a hard one for the Allies to take the French from that position, but should be interesting. Cool. So we've got our battle at Provins, which is going to be Napoleon versus Blucher and de Tolly. Cool. I think, what else do we have? Our options done. That's all for later. Cool. We've got our orders for the Allies to sort of hold until all can attack, hold till everyone is in position. Cool. Sounds good. Numbers don't matter when you're fighting Napoleon. We've had time reinforcing the defense. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, this I think is going to be an interesting one, and I think it will more or less be the finale. Because really, whatever happens here, if Napoleon wins, the Allies aren't really going to be in a fit state to do much next turn, and if Napoleon's defeated, then the French are pretty well done for. So this will be our final battle. If he's able to lose and then try and get his army out, they'll probably get caught by the Allies anyway. So I think we are about to watch the finale and find out what the outcome of the campaign is. But definitely looking forward to this. What I have done over the last week is each of the bases, I don't have them with me right now, actually. But if you can think of each of the bases being yay long, I've cut them all in half so that they're all now half the length. So we've actually got twice the number of troops for this fight, which is what we actually needed. Plus, I feel that they actually work slightly better on the table, being slightly smaller. When you consider the buildings and the towns and stuff like that, I think it works quite nicely. So you'll see that in this coming up battle. But yeah, I think that's pretty well us for this turn. Yeah, exciting one. But once again, I thank you all for joining us and for all of the comments. I mean, yeah, there's been a lot of good ideas today, which is cool. But yeah, unless you got any final questions or suggestions, I think we will say goodbye. Good chatting to you all. Have a good week. Yep. All I ask, if you defeat me, I'll surrender honorably. Can you send me to a warm island as a prison? Yeah, I think that's fair. Anyway, yeah, thanks, guys. Take care, and I will see you next week with the outcome. Have a good weekend. See ya.